Strewn across the vast landscape of Hyrule in Tears of the Kingdom are 152 shrines of light. These propped up and elongated pointy rocks each contain a puzzle, a test of worthiness for the hero intended to receive its cleansing light magic. In a recent interview with Nintendo Dream magazine, the developers of Tears of the Kingdom talked about the origins of these shrines. The director of the game, Hidemaru Fujibayashi, had the following to say: "The shrines existed even before Rauru founded Hyrule and before Ganondorf appeared. Rauru and Sonia traveled to calm various evils. After defeating them, they left shrines as seals with purifying power to prevent their return. That's why the shrines emit that spiral light. Link also experiences a slight purification from the miasma he is exposed to at the surface shrines. We observe that last bit every time Link clears a shrine when the corruption exits his arm upon receiving the sacred light of Rauru and Sonia. The magic behind this occurrence is most likely light force, a recurring power across the Zelda series, and it's something we've seen in multiple games. While I was researching this subject for a different video, I noticed that the shrines and the game at large feature designs similar to those found in actual mythologies and religions from the real world. And after digging even deeper, I soon discovered that many of these designs are closely connected to concepts of enlightenment and purity. I remembered that since the early trailers for Tears of the Kingdom, fans have observed that the Sky Islands contain lotus flower imagery and torii gates, two symbols featured prominently in Buddhism and Shintoism respectively. And within the shrines themselves, we continue to see a plethora of such references. At least, that's my interpretation. After all, I'm not an expert on religious studies or mythology. I'm just a guy equipped with Wikipedia, ChatGPT, and a love for The Legend of Zelda. So please enjoy this collection of superficial connections that just about anyone could draw by looking around the web. Within the Shrines of Light are rock gardens of raked white stone interspersed with jutting boulders like hills or mountains climbing out of water. As soon as I saw these, they reminded me of Buddhist Zen gardens, and I was pleased to learn it was confirmed that these are Zen gardens by the asset names in the game files, with not only the word Zen garden appearing, but also their Japanese name, Karisansui. The concentric circles emanating from the larger stones represent rippling water, reflecting the ever-changing nature of life and the idea of finding calm and balance amidst change. I also believe the concentric circles we see across the game and various marketing materials are derived from this concept. This is a theme present throughout the game. Some of the largest and most important Zonai structures in Tears of the Kingdom are reminiscent of pagodas. Pagodas hold great religious significance in Buddhism. They serve as sacred structures that house important Buddhist artifacts or relics of esteemed teachers. Additionally, pagodas often serve as places for meditation, prayer, and worship. The Temple of Time on the Great Sky Island reminds me of an upside-down pagoda. And what's more, the hanging structure on the bottom of the temple looks like the finial or sorin of a pagoda, which itself represents sacred elements. Throughout Tears of the Kingdom, we see multiple circular dragon structures, and many Zelda theorists have pointed out their similarity to the Ouroboros symbol, a circular dragon eating its own tail. These could be derived from the Enzo, a symbol in Zen Buddhism. The Enzo serves as a symbol of enlightenment, the universe, the void, and the cyclical nature of existence, captured in a single brushstroke that reflects the momentary and unbounded nature of reality. In Breath of the Wild, Age of Calamity, and now Tears of the Kingdom, we see various characters utilize hand signs, which are inspired by mudras. Mudras in Buddhism are symbolic hand gestures that are believed to have specific spiritual, mental, or healing benefits. Breath of the Wild sleuths figured out that the symbols which appear when the Yiga clan perform the hand signs are the 9-syllable seals. These syllable seals are a system of mudras known as kuji-in. Each hand gesture, corresponding to one of the syllables, symbolizes various spiritual and mental powers like strength, harmony, intuition, and enlightenment. The aforementioned torii gates are traditional Japanese structures that symbolize the transition from the mundane to the sacred, often found at the entrance of Shinto shrines, marking the boundary to a space revered in Shinto religion. One theory about the origin of the name torii suggests it derives from the Japanese word for bird. This theory is associated with the belief that birds are talismans that ward off evil spirits. Fittingly, the name of the bird people of the Zelda series, the Rito, is an anagram of the word torii. Another connection I found has to do with some of the trees we see in the game. In the Zelda book Creating a Champion, the developers of Breath of the Wild confirmed that the Great Deku Tree's design was based on a cherry tree. And there are cherry trees across Hyrule which conjure the Lord of the Mountain, also known as Satori. In Buddhism, the word Satori means enlightenment. Also, in Japan, cherry blossom trees, or sakura, symbolize the transience of life, which is a major theme in Buddhism. Golden leaf trees canopy much of the sky islands of Tears of the Kingdom, giving them a distinctive heavenly aura. When Eiji Aonuma demonstrated Tears of the Kingdom in March 2023, he called these trees out as being exclusive to the Sky Islands. While the trees actually bear apples, they could be a reference to the ginkgo tree, known as the fingernail of Buddha in China. Ginkgo trees are often found at temples and are regarded as sacred. The two lobes of their leaves are sometimes interpreted as a symbol of duality, yin and yang. One of the most obvious symbols are the aforementioned lotus flowers that can be found absolutely everywhere, not just in shrines, but all across Hyrule. In Buddhism, the lotus flower symbolizes purity and spiritual awakening, as it rises untainted and beautiful from muddy waters, representing the journey from ignorance to enlightenment. In Hindu and yogic traditions, the crown chakra is called Sahasrara, and it is often depicted as a 1,000-petaled lotus, symbolizing spiritual enlightenment and the blossoming of consciousness at the highest level. It is likely that the recurring Zelda series character, Sahasrara, is named after this chakra. There are many variations of lotuses across Tears of the Kingdom and across the series as a whole. Some of the more striking examples of this are the lotus flowers that contain the Zonai secret stones. In Buddhism, there exists imagery of beings on the path to enlightenment holding wish-fulfilling jewels called mani jewels, and they are shown emerging from lotus flowers. These beings are known as bodhisattvas, and the most renowned of them is known for his Tibetan Buddhist mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum, which translates to praise to the jewel in the lotus. It is the most popular mantra in Buddhism, commonly carved into stones, painted on hillsides, and written on prayer flags and prayer wheels. I believe the idea of a lotus bearing a jewel is what inspired the depictions of secret stones in lotuses that we see across Tears of the Kingdom. One of the most highly revered of the wish-fulfilling jewels in Buddhism is the Cintamani, which is considered by some to be the equivalent of the Philosopher's Stone in Western alchemy, and it too is inscribed with the Om Mani Padme Hum mantra. The myths surrounding this jewel associate it with prominent gods, and in Buddhism, legend has it that this Mani jewel fell to earth from the sky, and in Tears of the Kingdom, we are told that the secret stone-wielding godlike Zonai descended from the heavens. What's more, the Cintamani is said to be wielded by the king of the Nagas, a race of half-human, half-serpent beings that reside in the netherworld, and they are often associated with bodies of water. They have the ability to shapeshift into human, half serpent, or full serpent. They are also guardians of treasure. In Tears of the Kingdom, we see mammoth serpentine skeletons in the depths, and each one contains a Zonai treasure chest with a piece of the wild armor set. We also see numerous depictions of dragons across all Zonai architecture, including some that are spouting water. And of course the Zonai are dragon worshippers who even have a history of transforming into dragons. And I would go as far as to say their mammalian design mirrors that of the dragons in the era of the Wild, as it was revealed in the Zelda book Creating a Champion that the developers chose dog-like and goat-like features when designing them. In one of my previous videos, I discussed the role of water dragons in Eastern mythology, and how the water dragon that the Zonai worship per Creating a Champion could be a reference to these. Part of my video discussed the role of dragon pearls in the mythology, which seemed fitting since the water dragons hold the pearls in their mouths, and Princess Zelda swallows a secret stone in order to transform into a dragon. The more I researched that topic, the more convinced I became. There are even depictions of dragons with orbs in their mouths in the Zelda series, like these lamps in Tears of the Kingdom found mostly around the Lomai labyrinths. While the Naga don't hold the Mani jewels in their mouths, they have been known to place them on their foreheads. And the Zelda series is full of forehead gems, including the secret stone that Ganondorf steals and mounts on his head in Tears of the Kingdom. The placement of these could be a reference to the third eye, an anatomical feature that the Zonai possess. In Buddhism, the third eye symbolizes a state of enlightenment, or the opening of spiritual insight and wisdom beyond ordinary perception. Some other interesting concepts that I came across are the Nagamani and Sarira. Nagamani is a mystical gem believed to be found in the hood of a cobra, granting extraordinary powers and wealth to its possessor. And the Sarira are small pearl or crystal-like bead-shaped objects that are found among the cremated ashes of Buddhist spiritual masters, symbolizing spiritual purity and the embodiment of compassion. While I do think it's a fitting connection that Rauru, King of Dragons, wields magic jewels, I think there may be even more to this theory. The whole aforementioned business about water dragons and transformation could have its roots in a very well-known myth, that of the Longmen. Carps and koi represent perseverance, and they hold significant cultural and symbolic value in various Asian cultures. They are often illustrated in art, literature, and celebrations like Japan's Children's Day. As the Dragon Gate myth goes, a carp that successfully leaps over the mythical waterfall at the Dragon Gate is transformed into a mighty dragon, symbolizing strength, perseverance, and triumph over adversity. This explains why dragon scales resemble fish scales. It symbolizes the carp's transformation into a dragon. And we see dragon scales on the walls within various structures in Tears of the Kingdom. Notice the orientation of the scales, conveying an upward trajectory. If these were meant to be lotus petals, they'd be pointing the other direction, like those we see in the ancient cistern boss room in Skyward Sword. And to bring it all together, when the royal princess Zelda transforms into a dragon, there is a waterfall at her feet, prominent dragon symbolism, and a torii gate right between her and the Temple of Time. Of late, the discourse surrounding Tears of the Kingdom has been critical of its storytelling. But what if we are looking at it all wrong? What if the Zelda team is trying to convey something more meaningful than just plot points? What if it transcends any conventional storytelling we are accustomed to, but instead invites us to let in a little spiritual growth and enlightenment? Thank you for watching this layman's analysis of symbolism in Tears of the Kingdom. Let me know in the comments what you think, and consider subscribing if you liked what you saw. I want to give a shout out to Magic Pixie Dream Girl, who provided me with the game asset names of the Zen Gardens. You should definitely go check her channel out, as she is putting out some amazing content unlike anyone else in the community. Thank you.